So the House Ag Committee was able to move the House version of the Farm Bill out of the House Ag Committee on a bipartisan vote. A positive thing, you had all the Republican members, a couple of Democrats support it. It gets the ball rolling, but we're only on the first step of this. So we still have to pass the bill through the House. It still needs to pass then through the Senate. Those bills will be conferenced together before voted on in each body again, before finally being signed by the president into law. So we still have a long way to go yet, but ultimately really a solid first step to keep this momentum going. We need to be able to make sure that we keep pressure on Congress and ultimately get a new farm bill, not only just passed, but a farm bill that works for farm and ranch families. The House version of the Farm Bill really included a lot of very good components for Nebraska farm and ranch families and really for everybody. As we always say, food security is national security, and the Farm Bill is that big piece of legislation, probably one of the bigger pieces of legislation that not only impacts farmers and ranchers, but really everybody when it comes to the nutrition title, the forestry title, the trade promotion title. I mean, there's a whole host of things that come together that make this very significant piece of legislation. Reference prices for the PLC program and the Ark County program were raised to better reflect current input prices. And so ultimately, this is a better thing for farmers and ranchers when economic times warrant. Moving forward, we have conservation programs that not only provide producers some cost share to do some improvement on their properties, but ultimately benefit the environment. And so we saw reinvestment in those programs and some change of those programs to make them function a little bit better. Lastly, I think probably one of the more important things that we saw was a fix for Proposition 12 in this version of the Farm Bill. So what ultimately it does is it says that states can control animal welfare practices within their own state. They can't go outside of the state and impose these new ideas. Actually, Congressman Bacon, our 2nd District Congressman here in Nebraska, was able to add a new program or a provision that dealt with the pre-approval of FSA loans, really a thing that will help beginning farmers and ranchers work through the paperwork process of getting a loan and also being able to purchase new property. So really a positive thing that Congressman Bacon was able to do, and also spending an awful lot of time, and one of his major priorities, continuing to work on animal disease readiness, making sure we're prepared for any livestock disease that may come to our shores. We still have a long way to go before this Farm Bill gets signed into law. I think there's an opportunity that we continue to keep this momentum going. G.T. Thompson, chairman of the House Ag Committee, has said that overall House action will take place no sooner than September. Farm bills take a long time to pass. They are extraordinarily politically volatile, given the size and scope of the cost of these bills. And so I think there's an opportunity we will get one passed this year, but I think we have a long way to go before we get there. It's going to be really important for Nebraska Farm Bureau members to continue to impress upon our members of Congress that a farm bill is needed. We need to get this piece of legislation forward, even if it's one step, even if it's through a committee, if we get it through one side of Capitol Hill and maybe not the other, but we need to continue to put that pressure on members of Congress as they, Nebraska's congressional delegation understands how important farm bills are, but they need to continue to hear from our members to make sure they hear that and they know that we're behind them. We need to get this bill done. Ultimately, again, it affects not only farmers and ranchers, but everyone across the country.